So you might be wondering, why use Java? There's so many other programming languages to choose from. What is the benefit of using Java? Well, Java is considered a higher level language, and that means that it is not going to directly communicate with the computer. It needs to be run through what we call the Java development kit, and then it goes through the JRE, which is the Java runtime environment, and then that allows the Java language that's easier for us to manage, and how we're going to write our code and instruct our computer what we want it to do. Then it will go through the JRE, and that'll convert the Java programming language into something that can be read by any operating system. That's one of the famous quotes that was used once Java got created. It said, "Write once, run anywhere," and that's the beauty of Java, is that once you download that JDK and JRE, you're able to run it on any operating system and basically be able to create whatever you want one time instead of having to rewrite code depending if it's on a Mac or a PC or iPhone or Android. Before I go through and walk you through how to download the JDK and Eclipse, I'm going to talk about what an integrated development environment, or IDE, actually is. Once we've downloaded the JDK from oracle.com, we need to decide what IDE we're going to use. And what is an IDE exactly? It is the software we're going to use and where we're going to put our code and run our simulations. And so it is obviously essential to what we're going to be doing. We're going to have to open up that software, and that's where we're going to be placing our code. We're not just going to be going into Notepad and putting code in there. The advantages of IDEs are that they allow for a source code editor, and so that will give you warnings or tell you locations of errors and give you hints at how you can fix those things. Build automation, so we can actually run our program and see what happens when we run our program, and as well as a debugger, trying to fix any mistakes or issues, errors, bugs that we have in our code. The two Java IDEs that are most commonly used are Eclipse and IntelliJ. I would say Eclipse is a little bit easier to start with, whereas IntelliJ is where you would eventually move towards as you get more advanced into Java. Either will work fine. They both are run through Java code, and that's what we're going to be using in this course. Really, it is up to you, but I think Eclipse is a little bit easier to start with. So the first thing we're going to need to do is download the JDK for Java. To download the JDK, simply just Google JDK. You will see Java SE, meaning Java Standard Edition. That's what we're looking for, and it will automatically bring you to the most recent version of Java. You can go ahead and hit download. That'll take you to another page where you're going to need to accept the license agreement, and so you need to click on accept, and then you will click what operating system you're using and start downloading. But I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to do it again. So next, we're going to need to download Eclipse or IntelliJ, depending on what you're going to use. I'll show you how to download Eclipse. It's pretty simple, eclipse.org. And then go to download packages. And you might need to do a little bit of research on which packages you're wanting to do. But the one I'm going to download, for how much we're going to be doing just in the starter, I'll do the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. You can do a little bit of research to decide if that's not the right one for you, but this would be easiest for you guys to follow along. Go ahead and click on that. We are going to be downloading to a Windows 64-bit, and once you click on that, you will be able to download the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Go ahead and open Eclipse for the first time now. You should see something along these lines. They have a welcome page. You can go ahead and either look through these real quick and browse around and get a little bit more familiar with Eclipse, or if you want to continue on, we're going to exit out of this. Once you exit out of that welcome page, you'll be brought to the Eclipse interface. And so this is what we're going to be in the majority of the time while we're in Eclipse. It's going to be a lot easier if you set it up in this way. And so on this left side, we have our Package Explorer. Now these are where the names of all of our projects are going to be. I have this first game. There's a new computer, so I've just created one game on here. And you can search through this project right here. So when you do a new Java project, it'll be a new folder that stores everything within this project. And so my first game was the project. And I have a package that's called SRC. And that is a folder that will store all of the other packages that I have. And we'll go through that more as we go along. But This SRC stands for source code, and so that is where you are going to store your code. And so I have created a ton of different packages for this game to break down where different things are. We are just going to do one project at a time, one small thing at a time, and then as we go through and graduate on further and further, we'll start organizing our different programs in packages. But this is just so you guys kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to look like. This game is still in its infancy, but this would be our run button. And so whenever we want to run our code, we will click this run button. And so this run button, I don't have a main menu yet, but basically it's going to start on this pseudo menu screen, and then once you click, you get this game, I guess you could call it, pulled up. And this game has some collision detection, like you can't go through the trees or the stone. This is something that's fun, that's just a project that I've done. That's not what we're going to be focused on, at least to start here. I just wanted to give you guys an example. And so within this big blank area is where we're going to write our code. So if I opened up one of these classes, Java, remember I talked about their Java files. This is a .java, which would be converted into the game.class, which is able to be read by the computer, whatever operating system we're on. So all of these will be .java files that will then be converted through the JRE and be able to be run by whatever operating system. This is where we will have our code for each one of these classes. Okay, and so you can see that just that simple game takes a lot of code. Now we're finally actually going to get into coding. So a tradition in programming, a very old tradition, is that your very first program, your very first command to the computer should be hello world. It's as if you are announcing through you speaking to the computer and telling it to announce itself to the world. So say, hello world, I'm a computer and I can be commanded into saying hello. And so that is what we're going to do right here. To start a new project, you're going to need to go up to File, go hover over New, down to Java Project, and you can call this whatever you would like. I'm going to create the beginner tutorial series. And all the default settings are going to work out okay. The Java Standard Edition 12, what we just downloaded, is what we are going to be wanting. The JRE that we're going to want to execute at runtime. Now that we have our project, which is the beginner tutorial series for me, you're welcome to call it whatever you'd like. You're going to right click on beginner tutorial series and make a new class. Make sure it says beginner tutorial series, the source folder. We're not going to have an extra package here. We're just going to straightforward start and create a class. And so the first one you want to create is the hello world class. And which method stubs would you like to create? I want you to check mark these. Now, this is not, starting off, you're going to use a lot of what we call main methods. And that's where, when you push run, it needs a main method, because that is what will be run in your code. And so essentially that's what our main method will do, and it's going to look really confusing with a public static void main string args. All that can be confusing, but for now you don't need to know that. We'll get into that quickly. So public class hello world is saying that the class name that we've created is called hello world. And so to print something in Eclipse, you want to do system.out, and you'll notice that Eclipse has some auto completion here for you. System.out.print, and we're going to print a line, so it's going to be print ln. And then if you are trying to print text, you're going to need to have quotes. And so what we are going to print is hello world. Now this hello world will, once we run it, will print onto our console, which is down here, and that will end the program. It'll run through once, it'll say hello world, and with that you've created your first program. Now I hope you guys realize the power of what you've just accomplished. You have commanded a computer to do something for you, and you have automated something so that when you run this program, you will have the computer say hello world. And so now that you've completed your first program, I hope you choose to go on with these tutorial lessons. I promise you, we're going to ramp up the pace really quick, and we'll go slow enough for beginners that with no understanding at all to be able to get through it, but fast enough to keep you guys interested and keep learning new things as we go. If you found this video useful and think this course will be useful for you, it'd be very helpful if you subscribed and liked this video. Please leave your comments at the bottom of the page. I really appreciate it, and I'll get back to you if you have any questions or issues that you leave down in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'm excited to have you guys go on this journey with me. Until next time, this is Crow's Programming Course.